No problems at all, my man. No dramas. Definitely keen to to hear everything you've been up to and how everything's going.
Hell yeah, man. I'm keen to jam on it too.
Love it. Hey Joel, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Are you part of Tom and Erica's team?
Yes, I'm a part of that.
Awesome, mate. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you again.
How's everything going?
At the moment, it's going good again. We're back up and running after our
Yeah,
little
good to
hiccup.
hear. Yeah, that was
Very,
unfortunate, but unfortunately quite common. So but yeah, I'm glad you guys are back up and running.
yeah, it was a bit of a scary time. 2 weeks we were down on the meta, so we're back and running now. Our ads are running really well, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
awesome. Love to hear it. Beautiful. Yeah, Gene, the guys got done by the old scam, and the hackers got into their account and started running ads for spam stuff from the account, and then it got blocked and got banned and disabled, and then they couldn't access their page, and it was all a big nightmare. So
Yeah, and
Damn,
managed
lucky
to get it
I
all sorted for them.
lucky I have access as well to the page because Tom's Facebook got kicked off and everything, so I was the savior basically.
Nice.
what a
Good
nightmare though.
work. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things, they seem to get you at the times where you're the most vulnerable or whatnot, and you kind of think afterwards, oh shit, like why did I do that? How did I not know it was a scam? But sometimes they're just, they're so good that they get you, and then yeah, it ends up being a bit of a nightmare to get out. I've had times where clients or colleagues or whatnot just haven't ever been able to get their ads or their page or anything back at all, which yeah, which sucks. So it was good that we got to a resolution.
Exactly.
It's a whole industry though, right? Like they're pretty high level guys like pulling this stuff off.
Oh yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
They literally look like legit emails from Meta and everything. That's how we got done.
I heard on a podcast if you look at all the money generated from scams, it would be the sixth largest economy in the world.
Jesus.
wow.
Something like that.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, but it's pretty scary, that's for sure. Just gonna check. We had about, I think, 7 or 8 confirmed for tonight, so we might just wait. We had Ethan, Jordan, Greg and Travis. So we might just wait for those guys to jump on. But I think while we do, I didn't do this into this morning session, but I was just gonna give you guys a bit of an update of where we're at with everything with our events and whatnot, just so you guys can sort of keep up to date with what we're doing and what our strategies are and all that sort of stuff. I think as we roll out our events across summer. So we're going to have 3 tailgate events: Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. They're all on the same day, so that's nice and fun because they have to all be when the Super Bowl's on. We can't change the change the dates of any of them. So that's going to be a good challenge, but something I'm really excited for. So they're on the 10th of February. And then we've got our Reminisce tour as well, which is still all getting put together at the moment. But at the moment, it's going to be Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, possibly Brisbane, all across one weekend. And we'll be doing moving Reminisce from the Sydney My Music Bowl to Flemington. So that'll be, hopefully take us from sort of 10,000 around to the 15,000, and in future years hopefully up towards the 20 mark, and do it as a full scale multi-stage festival, even though we've done multiple stages before, but we're scaling up. And then Sydney, depending on the acts we get, Sydney will either be Randwick Racecourse, or we would do it at a smaller venue like Greenwood or something like that. And then Adelaide will be about a 2,500 cap venue as well. So we'll probably do Adelaide on the Friday and then Melbourne and Sydney either on the same day on Saturday, or we'll do Melbourne Saturday and Sydney on the Sunday. So that's what we're sort of gearing up for at the moment in terms of our own events. Uh, we're absolutely steaming, full steam ahead with all of our surveys and everything. I know I did a post on it a while back and explained to you guys, what we were going to do from a tailgate point of view, but it's really interesting. Like, we obviously done the Melbourne event last year for tailgate. We had 1,500 people there. It was a great success. Then we did a post-event survey and have had a lot of feedback and everything, but we still did another pre-event survey. We've got 193 responses to that. The one in Sydney, we've got 258, and the one in Brisbane, which is here, we've got 230. So Brisbane and Sydney, the surveys are going nuts. It always helps when you have content from the year before, and we have a really good promo or after movie. So we've basically just been running. I'll show you the ads. So you can see here, we've got Brisbane survey, Melbourne survey, Sydney survey, and we've just basically been running this one video in story placement only, which is this here. And it's just basically our after movie on a Canva background with an overlay, and then just Brisbane Tailgate Fest 10th of Feb. Fill out the 1 minute survey, win tickets and prizes. It's going nuts. Like, people are going crazy for it. So if we look here, we've spent say $139, and in each city, and we've got 230 and 258 responses. So we're getting responses to our survey for about 50 cents, which is incredible. And that's just a massive validation to say, hey, there's a huge market for it. Like, let's push forward. So yeah, we're really encouraged with that. We're at the moment putting sponsorship stuff together. So this is our latest sponsorship deck. Again, it always helps when you've got content from the year before, but our artwork's looking really good. And we're basically just putting this deck together for sponsors at the moment for Tailgate. And we're basically in conversations with some sponsors. We're reaching out to those in the next couple of weeks. We've got the surveys going, and we're looking to launch in about 2.5 weeks' time to launch out our pre-sale to the public. So that's kind of where Tailgate's at. And then Reminisce, we only sent out one email yesterday. So a single email to our database. And we've got 251 responses to our survey so far, which is a decent survey. Like, it's not tiny. Probably goes against my my parameters of only doing 5 maximum questions. We've got a few. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a few multi-choice ones, and then a couple at the end here. So again, just really encouraging signs that our database is engaged. And we'll probably do a post, run a couple of ads, and hopefully get up to around 500. And then depending on how we or when we lock in the acts, that's when we'll launch the event. Probably, I reckon, in realistically about a month's time, a month to 6 weeks, sort of mid-November, and that's for a March 15 run. So yeah, as I said, just thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update to where everything's at as we do our launches, as we're doing our pre-sale and everything like that. I'll give you guys a front row seat to everything that we're doing from an ads point of view, pre-sales, copy, all that sort of stuff. There's scaling here happening here. We're scaling Tailgate into 2 more states. We're scaling Reminisce into 1 more state, and scaling the event up significantly. So I would say that, anytime you scale anything up, as you guys all would know, you always have a few little sleepless nights here and there thinking, what the fuck am I doing? So I'm sure I will definitely have a few of those this summer, but hopefully yeah, everything goes well. And yeah, as I said, we'll take you guys on the journey as well, and we can all be on the summer journey together. Cool, cool. All right. Well, I think without further ado, we'll crack into it. Um, there'll probably be a couple of latecomers, if not all good. But yeah, as I would have said in the videos, as I went through with the group this morning, there was about 6 of us on, 5 or 6 of us on this morning, which was really, really good. We had a great session. We're basically focusing on this little summer sellout sprint as a three phased approach, or 3 workshops. So we'll have today's sessions, which is Sellout Academy members only. Then in 2 weeks' time, we'll have a workshop that's open to the public. And then the week after that will be another workshop that's Sellout Academy members only. So the whole sort of theme behind everything about this is navigating summer. So as we know, summer every single year, festival season, event season, whatever it might be, there's more events, but there's also some really tricky periods to navigate. You know, your Black Fridays, your Christmas, Boxing Days, etc., etc. If you're running ads, you know, prior to Black Friday, or you're trying to launch into Black Friday, you can get sort of sucked up and really struggle with your ad spend, and your ads just really stop performing, especially conversion ads. So what we'll do is today, we'll go through, spend some time with each of you mapping out what the summer looks like in terms of, you know, what you've got coming up events wise, when you're planning on launching, you know, what you're targeting from a capacity point of view, all those sorts of things. I'll take a bunch of notes, map all those out, and then we'll talk about, you know, any potential strategies that you've got coming up, whether that's online, offline, whatever it is. Just basically get a whole big download of info, and then in a couple of weeks when we have the public workshop, that'll be the really strategy stuff focused on, you know, navigating the Black Fridays and the specific strategies to do around that with your ads and all that sort of stuff. And then the week after, when we have the final workshop, that's when we will come back with a bit of a tailored marketing plan for you guys individually, based on the info that we go through today. So as I said, today is a bit more of a fact find. Obviously, we can, you know, definitely help. I can help you guys out with any challenges or whatnot that are happening right at this present moment. But in terms of the overall workshop piece, it's yeah, it's a little bit more of a fact find. So hope that all makes sense. If you guys have got any questions on that in general, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can jump straight into it and yeah, and spend some time with each of you going over everything. Cool, cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna do what I usually do. Start from my top left. So, Gene, mate, you're up. You're in the hot seat.
Hell yeah, man. Like I said this morning, I was really looking forward to jamming with you because it's been, I think, a few months. Um, so back in July, we did a really successful 7-day tour. For those who don't know, I tour a breathwork event called the Altered States Experience. We can use breathing exercises and live music to replicate psychedelic brain states. So it's like giving people a psychedelic experience naturally. And psychedelics, if you don't know, have a lot of promise for health and healing. So I'm in the health and wellness, spiritual kind of space. And July went really well. We averaged about 34 people per event. Profitable, actually made money. So we backed it up
Nice.
with a tour in August, basically doing the same leg. We went everywhere, and then we looped back, kind of the same locations as what we did in July. So we went from doing 7 locations and dates in July to 16 over September and early October. And man, I fucked up so much. It's almost like you go to jujitsu and you just don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you just like the white belt just getting your ass kicked. It was a little bit like that. Like I'd always been using conversion objectives, But we'd spoken from the very get-go about using traffic, went to traffic, not good. Um, Ballarat, love talking shit, man. I don't know if you've ever done any events in Ballarat, but we had so many people talking
No, I
shit.
haven't.
It was, yeah, fucking
Oh,
night.
you mean like haters sort of thing, or
Yeah, nasty ass comments, man. Bitches.
yeah, right.
Like just
Yeah.
just like fuck Ballarat. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
right.
it's all just part of the fun. But yeah, man, I'd never really had that before, and I had to pretty much put up $21,000 or so to like pay for venues and my muso. I'm paying pretty well, and da 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 da. And it was a nightmare basically the whole time. I'd made the switch to Humanitics and passing on the uh, booking fee to the customer. So it was $99 all inclusive, which I think psychologically was good for a lot of people. But then it went up to 104.50 or something awkward like that. So there was that. And
Mm-hmm.
then Meta wasn't tracking the Humanitics conversions that great. So I got like zero data for every ticket that we did sell, just not recorded in the data. So that sucked until I got Stape organized a couple of weeks ago. I did implement like the budgeting plan that you talk about, like the
Yep.
33% on launch, first day's 30% of that. And in Mossman, we did Mossman Art Gallery, which is like a real beautiful church kind of venue, like the people that are really leading this kind of space do their performances there. It's about twice as expensive as any other venue we hire. And we managed to sell like 20 tickets or so straight off the bat using that
Mm-hmm.
strategy. Super stoked, a lot of pressure off, but then it just stagnated. And we basically got no more ticket sales until like the weekend of where we sold like maybe another 10. Um, so that and that kind of was how it was the whole way through, just like trying to push to get over the edge. I think the most attendees we had was like 30. I managed to not lose money, but I didn't get paid for the 16 dates that I did pretty much, so it's a lot of work from an artistic perspective, man. We're so good at what we do, so for me personally, I'd rather have our offering dialed in and like have these amazing shifts for people personally and figure out the marketing across time, as opposed to having shit hot marketing and people show up and you just don't perform. So I mean, I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
focus on positives, but with that said, I feel like there's a lot of lessons that I've extracted. Um, I'm very much trying to extract your principles as an event marketer and apply them to my workshop, which is quite different. Like there's crossover, but it is quite different. I'm actually part of another group that do like meta ads for coaches. And that's not exactly what we're doing
Yep.
either. But I really feel like we're in the middle between like self improvement coaching and like a concert. That's kind of what it is. And I'm starting to go, okay, I need to make my own decisions and take both these principles and begin to make something that's unique for what it is that I do. And now that I've kind of just pulled my balls up and gone, right, this is what I'm going to try. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more enjoyable. I'm promoting a 3 date tour that we've got at the start of November, and that's ticking along pretty good. I'm running some
Mm-hmm.
story clips exclusively in stories and reels that are just like 10-second, like really sexy shots from our event because we've got the cool projector and art on the wall and my muso hitting the dig and stuff. It's really interesting looking stuff. They go for 10 seconds, the date comes up, and they can click learn more. And that's a traffic
Yep.
campaign. And I'm also simultaneously running like the launch campaign, basically, which is in feeds, which is hey, book now. And that's conversion objective. And it's going pretty good, man, especially like running those story ads on the Gold Coast prior to launching, I think has worked really well. We only did a couple days of stories before launch, and that was like enough to create a bit of hype, I think. So I've taken
Awesome.
mental note of that. And then the plan is to basically, after about 2 weeks, I'm going to keep the launch campaign going. But then currently, those reels are going to a cold audience, basically just trying to get clicks and build up a retarget audience. And in
Yep.
about 2 weeks, when we're about 3 or 4 weeks out from the event themselves, I'm basically going to reposition that style into a retargeting campaign. And the retargets is going to be like more in-depth content, like me explaining the benefits of altered states. It's going to be testimonials, like some of our best testimonials, and yeah, just some other like deeper level, more in-depth kind of content. So that's kind of the strategy I've got. So initially, just getting people who might be interested, and then going, hey, this is actually really, really cool and transformative. Um, so it's exciting because when I look at the real ads, I can see what the click through conversion rate is. I can see what the cost per click is, and if something's not performing, I can just find another reel that was got a lot of likes and put that up. So I'm constantly changing to try and get the cost per click down and the conversion up. So it's like a little video game. And even if I post something that doesn't perform, it's not a big deal because it's just about getting variety of content in front of people. Just keep popping up, keep popping up, keep popping up. So it's kind of fun because I can make these micro improvements, and across time, I'll just have like a set of 10 different ads that I can run maybe 3 at a time and just rotate through that I think is going to be really compelling, that will catch people's eye. So that's a piece of the puzzle that I feel good about. We're getting more testimonials, which is great. I think we look good on social media and we're recognizable. I've got a pretty solid email list I'm taking more advantage of now, which I wasn't before. We've just secured a retreat venue. We're doing the Altered States immersion. So 3 days.
Nice.
The concept is 3 days of using all the different modalities that cultures have developed across thousands of years to access divine states, like the meet God type of experience. And for 3 days, we're going to feed people, house people, and just like get them meditating and breathing and drumming and chanting. We're going to do firewalks and ice bathing and all this cool hippie shit that I love. So even though we didn't get a lot of like the 10 attendees, man, extra 10 per gig would have been like pretty life changing. But every time we said, hey, we're doing the immersion in February, no matter how big it was, we had at least 3 to 5 people come up, go, I'm fucking in. So I'm
Awesome.
hoping I can walk away from the retreat with like 10K in the back pocket, and that'll kind of
Yep.
justify doing these events for free here. And that hopefully will become the system where we tour around and then funnel them to the retreat for a bigger payoff. So yeah, that's just sort of a brain dump. Thanks for listening. It's nice to chat to people that are sort of on the same path, because otherwise I've got no one to share this kind of stuff with. So thank you for listening. But yeah, as far as summer and all that, in 2025, we
Just
want to.
sorry to
No, no, go
interrupt you,
ahead.
mate.
Go ahead.
Just before we move on to what's coming up. So yeah, there's heaps to unpack there, which is awesome. I've taken a whole bunch of notes, and we've obviously got the recording and everything going as well. Um, I think the first thing that I noticed is, compared to when you first started, compared to now, like what you just reeled off then in terms of your strategy and the way that you're looking at things, is incredible. So I think that's brilliant. I think you should definitely pat yourself on the back there. And it kind of goes back to the, original sort of goal, original adage that you probably would have heard me say at the start, which is the goal is not to sort of give you, hey, here's exact steps to follow, and that's just an exact science that's like a tick a box thing. It's more like empower you to understand what the hell's going on and then adjust it to what suits your event and what suits your business, because a lot of the stuff will be relevant, but some of it won't. So I think your mindset is in the right spot there, and it sounds like that you're getting some great learnings and some great results, and evolving everything and customizing it to exactly what you need.
Yeah, man. And just taking that responsibility and yeah, just going, I've got to make my own decisions and I've got to make mistakes and I've just got to figure it out. And yeah, being part of the community like this and having those people to ask questions to has been really good. And I try to think of it as like paying for an education. There are a lot of people that want to do breath work and stuff, man. So if I can, over the next couple of years, figure out something that works for me reliably, maybe I'll be like Corey Top and be able to teach people too, which is really exciting.
That's it, mate.
It
I
is
love
a
it.
completely different system, but the logic's really dropping in. Yeah, so thank you for all that. Um,
No
in-
dramas. And I think one thing that kind of stood out to me then, so as you were going along, I was thinking around your sort of model. Like you mentioned that when you first did the first tour, that it was profitable, and then the second one wasn't. And so I was sort of thinking around it's probably a good idea to dive into, either because there's two different ways to increase your profit. You increase your ticket prices, or you sell more tickets, right? That's it, really. Obviously, then have back end products too, which can increase that. But in terms of just making like event profit specifically from that event, that's the two ways to do it. So, my sort of question to you was going to be, what are you happy going along as you are, filling your events? And if you sell them out, you make profit and you roll on from there, or is there a big want to scale this up huge, make heaps of profit? Do you want to do more events? Do you want to increase your ticket price? Do you want to scale up the size of them? But then obviously you spoke about the retreat. And so I think that model in itself is great. And I think if your events really just become a lead generator and not a loss leader, like you want to be profitable with your events, but they basically become a lead generator to upsell into your retreats, then that is a scalable and really good business model that you could do really well out of financially and help a lot of people at the same time. So everyone wins. So I think that's awesome, and I think it's something we can explore a bit more. But in terms of your sales process and your funnel for your retreats, you definitely want to start looking at having some kind of way where you can get commitments from people or grab a deposit off people whilst they're really, really hot from the actual events. So you would set it up in a way where you're doing like an early bird intake. If people jump on, again, I'm just making this up, but however you do it, but 50% deposit or 20% deposit or whatever, put your money down now, secure your spot, you get an early bird ticket, you save yourself a few $100 or whatever it might be. And that's a way to start, getting people to take action. And because there's no better time to sell things to people than either at your event or straight after it.
Bro, the way people looked when they came up after the event, that they were ready to put money down right then and there. And I know that they fades post event when the high wears down.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
as far as making money, Gene wanty money. So 100%, I want
Yeah.
to make money, but yeah, I think you're right. I'd like to make like $1,000 per gig on the tours and then funnel people into the retreat. So I
Yep.
want it to be profitable lead gen. 40 people per gig, man, and I am laughing. Just 40 people per gig. From there, if we get up to 60, I can start getting more people on board to walk the floor and do some Reiki energy stuff, which is great. That's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I sell mushrooms, lion's mane mushrooms at the events. So, I make a bit of cash off that as far as product goes. Um, what were you saying before? There was something else that you said. Um, Help me out,
Around
Corey.
the
Oh, the
hype,
taking
capitalizing
payments.
on the
So
hype.
we didn't actually have any payment processes or landing page set up for the retreat until today. And what we're offering now is an early bird discount. So it's
Mm-hmm.
1,999. So two K for the 3 days, all inclusive, accommodation,
Yep.
food, and all the experiences. If you pay your 25% deposit up front, that's non-refundable. That will lock in your place at the early bird discount. And then we've got payment plans. And then it's going to go up to 2222 from November 30. The dates we'll see. I just pulled those out of my ass. But yeah, there is an early bird discount. And yeah, basically, I'm going to just get my muso, who's helped me a lot with this sort of stuff, get him to sign off on the landing page. And then it's going to be an email blast out to everyone who's ever bought an Altered Stakes ticket. And we're hoping to
Mm-hmm.
sell it out with an email. That would be a dream. We've had so many people say they're keen. It's just a matter of whether they're actually going to follow through, whether the hype's worn off, whether it's within their price budget. But man, 2K for a 3-night, 4-day retreat, like that's what you pay, if not way more. So I'm hoping we
Yeah,
can sell like
absolutely.
24 tickets. And that's for February. 14 to 17.
Mate, this is
Tickets
awesome. I
tickets
love
from
numbers. I
Brisbane.
love throwing all this stuff down.
What's that?
I said I love it's good to get all these numbers, you know what I mean? Like when you're launching, how many tickets you want to sell, ticket price, all that sort of stuff. Because this is all the things that we will basically use to come back with a little plan for you for the summer, basically.
I think if I can sell 20 tickets at the early bird, I walk away with 10K from the retreat, which would be
Yep.
so sweet. And at the moment, tickets to Newcastle, where we're sort of doing the event, for flying from Melbourne, Brisbane, or the Gold Coast, it's less than 200 return. So you could get flights and everything included, for about 2K. So or just over 2K. So anyway,
Awesome.
that's like this week's big sort of thing, and hopefully we won't need to do a marketing campaign. I'd really like to only bring in people that have come to the breathwork experience. I'd like to actually do 4 retreats next year, a bunch of profitable tours, and you've inspired me to consider running like a mini festival of like maybe 100 people. There's a really great location that we've found. I think it could be super super cool, like an alcohol free festival for like hippies and stuff.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
So yeah,
Might have to be in attendance.
it's super cool that you shared your stuff at the start too, man. That's the other thing I was going to say, because you've been in the game, what, 10 years since you're in the backyard?
Yeah, it's what, 12 now, 12 to 13, yeah.
So, you don't get to send an email out and get those kind of responses by luck. It's cool to see that you've been in the game for a decade and you've built that. And I can 100% see myself in the process. And that's a big part of reminding myself too. Like I've been doing workshops for 18 months. I worked it out the other day. But it's only been 18 months. So I've been putting myself in front of people, as a leader in this space, and
Yep.
going great. It's only going to get better. I've just got to keep going, and hopefully, yeah, within another 8 years or something, I'll be able to just like put in an email, sell retreats, and all my problems will be solved. That'd be cool.
That's it, mate. Don't worry. I've still got plenty of problems. um, yeah, no, it is. You are right in terms of the actual the the stickiness of growing a community and growing a brand, and that sounds like exactly what you're doing, and what everyone else here as well is doing. Dan, I know you've got a great community. We've been working really closely together over the last month or so, as part of the Inner Circle program, and being able to see, what you're doing and everything, Dan, is amazing as well. You've got a great community, Gene. I can see you're building one. Jordan, same thing. You guys are starting to get a really solid community too, Joel, in terms of, scaling up from your sort of underground raves to doing, official events while still trying to keep them, underground. But you guys have still got a good community as well. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's the power of your community and how engaged they are with you, and or your brand. So yeah, man, you just got to keep going, but your head's in exactly the right spot with making the experience and the people the number one thing. If you do that, honestly, you can't go wrong. You're onto something. You clearly got people who are interested in what you were doing. So some of the comments and all that you post, that you put up on stories and everything, are just incredible. People are so engaged, and they're obviously so thankful for what you do for them, that yeah, it just becomes one of those things that, yeah, you just gotta keep going, man, and it'll just keep growing.
Yeah, I think the presentation of the stories stuff, it's a lot of wide crowd shots, and I get the ads for myself. And it's cool because it's giving the image that people are going to this. This is something that a lot of people are going to. So it's kind of like that social proof is, I think, going to be effective. So yeah, so far we've had the ads for the upcoming events launched for about 3 days. I think Monday I launched them, and tickets are doing well. I think we've sold like 6 out of 30, 6 out of 45, and 8 out of 60 for the different locations, which is good for the first couple of days. And we're like over 5 weeks out, or sorry, over 4 weeks out. It's really only in the last 2 weeks that things start to pick up. So all indications are good at the moment.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think knowing that knowing your numbers and knowing what you've done before and what the sort of buying behavior is and everything is really important. Um, I think that you probably could, now that you're starting to get a pretty engaged database, you could start to get to a point where you want to try and, if you've got 30 tickets, like basically the way I generally look at it is that if you sell, you want to sell sort of try and sell 30 odd percent on your on sale. If you do that, you kind of know that you're looking really good for a seller as a general rule of thumb. Now your buying behavior might be a bit different, but I reckon that with your launches and whether for these size events, you're not really going to do a pre-sale, so to speak. But I think that, yeah, getting some urgency for people to buy early and working on that, I reckon you should be aiming to try and get around 30% of your tickets sold on your launch. And then the rest will take care of itself, so to speak.
I'm doing a early bird offer, just 10% off anyone who purchases straight away, limited to the first 10 tickets only.
Yep.
So that's what I've run for these upcoming three, which seem to be pretty good. Like they're going. So I'm hoping they'll be gone in the first week. And yeah, man, 30% would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
reckon that because of what your event is and the experience that people are getting, I don't need to tell you this, it's life changing for a lot of people, right? So, uh, I personally think that you should, and not for this campaign, obviously, because you've already launched it, but play around with some different modeling rather than sort of doing like a 10% off for the first tickets. You could potentially do structure your tickets in a way where, let's say you got 30 tickets, maybe it's 10 10 10 early bird, first release, final release, or whatever it might be. And then maybe have the first lot at $90, then go up to 105, and then maybe up to 120 or whatnot. Now, you might do that for one event, it might not work, but you might do it, it might work, and you say, okay, I can get some more revenue out of this by structuring things in a different way, and I can get people buying early from by structuring them in a different way. So, yeah, I'd have a think about playing around with what that looks like, and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to get to the point where we're sold out like a week out and we're not still waiting for people to come through. I'd rather get emails saying, "Hey, is there a waiting list?" Um, we've also started steering the copy more towards like the self-development type of thing. It's less more of a, "Hey, come learn about that, the neuroscience of tripping out and have an experience," and it's more about, no, this experience can actually really expand your consciousness and really change your life in meaningful and positive ways and healthy ways. So taking that more of self-improvement, invest in yourself kind of angle, I think it's more reflective of what we're actually doing. Like we don't attract people that want to get high. We attract people that
Yeah.
understand these states have a lot of potential for health and healing. So we're going to really lean into that, which I've been resisting. Because who am I to talk about what anyone else should do? But my muso in particular has really leaned into me stepping up and as a voice of authority on the matter and leading. So you'll probably start to see me drip feeding content of some of my talks that I give and stuff like that. And yeah, I really want to start leaning into that as well.
Awesome, man. Absolutely love it. Well, I've got a ton of info, ton of notes here, heaps of numbers, which is awesome, man. So we'll basically go back. I'll go back with my team, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks' time when we do or 3 weeks' time when we do the secondary Sellout Academy only workshop, with a bit of a customized plan for you, nice high level one. And as I said, there'll be a lot of specific Black Friday, Christmas competitors, all that sort of stuff, strategies in the public workshop in a couple of weeks.
I'll have some more data by then too about how this current strategy is kind of going. It's the first strategy where I've laid out certain pieces and I'm just letting it roll. So I'll be able to really like get a good idea. So
Awesome, man. Love it. All right, let's move on. So Joel, give us the 411, mate. How's everything tracking from your end with the show?
So show date is next week, the 19th of October. We're launching our face-to-face event with Sammy Lamarca and Laura King as the headliners for that one. As you know, Sammy Lamarca,
Yep.
one of your events. Um,
Yep.
After all that debacle with Meta and stuff, we're back on track. We've sold 231 tickets so far, which
Yep.
is okay. I reckon we're getting about 5 sales a daily, around 5 to 8 sales. It's after we were gaining about 12 daily, but with the whole Meta stuff, it sort of died off, and we don't really have.
Yep.
We have to rebuild that back up because they've only just been hitting everyone now midweek since we got it all back and running on Monday. But yeah, we sold out of the pre-sale. We sold out of this first release. The only problem that we felt with those was we put too many tickets into the pre-sale and the first release. We didn't give enough scarcity to get this second release rolling because we haven't really sold a whole lot. Only 40, like we've got another 46 allocated tickets that we want to sell for the second release, but we should have been moving forward a bit quicker, in our
Yep.
opinion. Like
So, because I remember last time we chatted, I can't remember whether it was with Erica or Tom
it was with
or
Erica.
one of you guys, around moving to the next release. So so you've got early bird, then second and third.
Yeah,
What's the
first, second,
releases
and
look like?
third. We're on second release at the moment, but we've got another like 40 tickets or so we want to hopefully sell. But if we're not gonna get those, we'll just move to the final release next week, by the looks of it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, just to give
Yeah,
that more
so I
urgency.
think that's the overall strategy. Yeah, like if you set your releases, but then if you can be creative with it,
Mm.
depending on how you want to get that urgency going. So are you guys sort of calling out grab your tickets before we move to final release at the moment?
Yes. We've just put a post on the story this afternoon saying like there was 40 tickets left in the second release.
Yep.
On the story, just to give a bit more urgency, we've been doing a lot of hype sort of ads just to get more engagement and people tracking. But we have been tracking really well on the Instagram page. We've had over 154,000 views. That's like the most we've ever had for our Instagram, which is
Mm-hmm.
really good. So their ads are reaching people that are not in our circle anymore, which is what we want. So
Yeah,
because we want to
absolutely.
branch out a bit to that wider circle. We
So
have
what's the what's the sellout number again? Is it
the
like eight
sellout
hundred or
number
something?
is 800 for the venue, but we budgeted for 75% and that's 600.
Okay,
But
sweet. So
our
you're targeting 600.
600, yeah, that was our
Yeah.
when we did our budgets, but we've only got at the moment our budget is $15,750, and we've got from ticket sales $6,390. So we're still needing another $9,360 from ticket sales. And that
Yep. So that, yeah, with your ticket levels, like
mm,
the number that you want to work off is like an average per ticket, because you
yeah,
obviously have your different ticket levels, your different numbers. So if you sum that in your budget, that's what'll be your what we call it an avtix. So what's your average
yes.
ticket price overall? So that's why it gets to the point where it becomes important to sell enough tickets at the top end, because that's where you always find that your profit, and your cream is like, you can be looking at your break even, and then like an extra 500 tickets or 1,000 tickets, like in our case, for example, you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of profit, in
Yeah.
what seems like a small amount of tickets compared to the overall volume. So
Yeah.
that's when you can play around with the numbers in your little table, as you're
Mhm.
sort of going along, just to try and engineer that profit a little bit.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
you said so the event's next Saturday, right?
yes, it's running from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. We
Okay, so
do
you got one,
have,
two, three, four.
that's about 8 hours.
So you got 10 days to go, and you
Yes.
got 369 tickets to sell.
Yeah, so we're look
So
to break even, we only need 200 and like about 240 tickets is to
yeah,
definitely break even if we use the final release, that is. So,
yep,
but yeah, sellout was our, hopefully we wanted to sell 600 tickets and then have that extra 200 for a bit more profit. But yeah,
it's a massive weekend this weekend of gigs as well. That's the other
yeah,
thing. There's Ben Bowman, there's I Hate Models, there's what else? Adam 10 at Revs. So I reckon that you guys I absolutely hate the whole like mantra of just it'll come home because like no promoter likes that strategy, right?
no,
But I think for you guys, I reckon next week will be a good selling week. I reckon people will come out the back
yeah.
of the shows this weekend and go, that was fucking awesome. I want to listen to some more techno.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully we can pull through next week with all the rest of the sales. But
Yep,
moving forward for summer, we've got a heap of dates locked in at the moment.
yep,
We are going to run one of our OG original park raves on the 2nd of November, primarily to
yep,
our audience on the WhatsApp group and then to a couple of other Facebook sort of groups that we've got going on there. We've got
nice.
a private property that we want to run sort of more of a Christmas party on the 21st of December. That's going to be another sort of big one for us. And then our next one we're going to do that I was interested in with your summer sort of stuff to help us is we've just locked in the warehouse in Coburg that we're doing the event next week on the 26th of January for the public holiday Sunday. So
Yeah, nice.
another 800 capacity venue for that one, same one, industry as next week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about how we go about that due to with the public holiday. So
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So when are you thinking? So you got the park rave on the 2nd, then you got like a Christmas sort of rave on the 21st of December, and then
yep.
you got Jan 26. So do you have like just general sort of dates that you penciled in to launch those shows, or you're still just mapping that out?
So as soon as we finish the event on Saturday, Monday we'll be launching the event for the 2nd of November, trying to
Yep.
get that down. And then we're sort of going to have to cross promote a little bit for the 21st of December as one with in November as well, just so we can get enough numbers for that one.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
we don't really have it. We're hoping 400 to 500 for that. But it's not
Yeah.
really a big event as it's on a private property. So
So you mean from a cost point of view?
yeah. There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot.
So your risk is lower because you can
Yeah,
kind of scale it up and yeah, cool.
yeah.
I like that business model.
But yeah, the one that we really need to focus on after all those two sort of raves are more just to get engagement and get people to go back to our old business model of giving it for the people, as like the brand says. But then our big one that we
Yep.
need to focus on is the 26th of January, because that's going to be high cost as well, like this one on the 19th.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you obviously need to launch that. You need to launch that before your Christmas show,
Yes.
obviously. So
100%.
you've really got that like, black hole, I call it, Black Friday period. It's really, and this is for everyone, it's really like a week either side. So Black Friday is on the 29th of November, I think, off the top of my head, this year. So a week before that,
Mhm.
even starting to get a little bit more. Brands are starting to go earlier and earlier and earlier now. Everyone's trying to, launch before each other. Um, that your ads will basically just go on the fritz. Um, there's not a huge amount that you can do with it in terms of being able to just tackle it head on, because there's just so much money going into the platform that it just becomes a supply and demand. And these big e-commerce brands and everyone that are going really hard at Black Friday, they're all competing for the same old eyeballs that you guys are. So they
Mm.
end up just being happy to pay more, and they just basically outbid you in the auction. So let's just say you're running some ticket conversion ads, um, and they're going at $5, $10 a sale. You if you just leave them, you'll probably see that the price will just go up. Like as soon as the Black Friday sales start, the price will just go up. So, and we'll go through a lot of these strategies specifically in the workshop in a couple of weeks. Around how to navigate around that. There's different ways you can
Mhm.
do it. If you've, at the end of the day, if you've got a really kick-ass high-performing ad that's really relevant, you still can, win the battle. But that's not always the case. So you can do things like try to get your launches out the way, spend a bit more beforehand, really drive the scarcity, and then basically just not go to ground, but switch your objectives and switch your campaigns to more of a engagement sort of video views, those sorts of things, and just really trying to focus on getting those people off the fence, building some hype, chipping away at them. And then once you come out the other end of Black Friday, then you turn on the jets again and go hard at the sales. That's a general sort of strategy that you can do. But as I said, we'll go through more of that, specifically in the workshop in a couple of weeks.
Mm. Awesome.
So in terms of your launch, for your Jan 26th, because obviously you've got your Christmas and New Year period, which is always a bit of a tricky one as well.
Mhm.
And then people don't really sort their shit out until like the second week of Jan. So I think you're going to really want to sell a lot of tickets in your launch and a lot of tickets in the last probably 2 weeks before your event, which that's no real different to any event, but it's just around when you're going to actually launch. So yeah, I think that if you've got your 20, yeah, okay. So
We're pretty much
what's your,
gonna have to.
where's your sort of head at? Like if you launch, because you're going to launch, are you going to launch your 21st of December rave? Are you going to launch that out the back of the 2nd of November one?
Uh, Pretty much, yeah. It's gonna have to, as soon as the second finishes, we'll launch that event, and then we're probably gonna have to launch the 26th one at the around the like and just before Black Friday.
Yeah, that's what I was
Just
thinking. You
'cause-
probably
yeah,
want to launch straight out the back of that. You launch your December one, and then almost the next week is when you'll launch your Jan 26 one.
yeah, because the 21st of December one's really not gonna be sort of pushed publicly. It's more of our like keeping that core fan
Yep.
base in our WhatsApp group. So yeah, the 26th one is really something we can just like push on social media and get that out.
Yeah, awesome. Yep. And you'll do a pre-sale for that and everything?
Yeah, definitely do a pre-sale. We're probably even thinking of doing sort of like what you were doing with your getting those sort of what were you saying about the
The
polls and stuff going?
surveys?
Doing surveys and
Yeah.
polls. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna try get one of them out just to see who everyone in Melbourne's hyping over. That was probably our best thing to
Yep.
see who we can put on as headliners and different things. Because there's so many acts that people are loving or not liking at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, cool, mate. I reckon that's a really good plan in terms of the dates. That's definitely
Yep.
so sort of keep focused on that. And then, yeah, I think what we'll do is, as I said before, I've taken a bunch of notes. We got the dates, we got your targets. So we'll start to put together a bit of a customized sort of plan for what that launch might look like. I think the timing will be good. So
Yep.
the last workshop, off the top of my head, I think it's the end of this month. So that'll be, a couple of weeks or so before you'll launch. So we can definitely have some really good strategies for you guys for that launch.
Awesome. That'd be great. Yeah. Keen for it.
Awesome. Cool. And keep us posted how the next week or so pans out. If you need any last minute tips or anything for next week, depending on how sales are going,
Yeah,
by
my
all means drop them in the group.
Yeah, my one question about that was for next week, because we're a bit and ahhing about the ticket sales. What was your thoughts with, because our meta and everything went down, we sort of drove traffic down a lot and we sort of lost momentum there. What would your thoughts be on like to regain those ticket sales back up again? Would it be just put more money into ads or like change the style of ads that we are running? Or
Yeah, I
what's
mean
what's
the
your
answer is
thoughts?
it's got to still be a numbers game. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to just pump more money into the ads and then if your cost per sale is really high, you could sort of end up going backwards. So it does need to become a numbers game. If you had good conversion ads running and now your momentum's dropped a bit and you're struggling to get them back to where they want to be, you could try traffic. Again, I'm not sure exactly what you guys are doing, but sometimes it's a case of just getting as many people to the page as possible so then they can see it, and then that will sell better. When you don't have the beauty of time, trying to
Mm,
get a conversion campaign going, knowing that it can take a little while to optimize. It's learning, then it wants to get out of the learning phase. You don't want to change it too much. That's the other thing to consider. If you're running
yeah.
into an event and it's the last week or two, and your conversion ads kicking ass, then a lot of the time you change it because you update the messaging, right? You go from, oh, get tickets now, blah, blah, blah. Then you maybe move on to a release, or you say, oh, next weekend or whatever. So you update the copy and then
Mhm.
you'll be like, fuck, like it was going awesome, it was rolling along, and then I changed the messaging because I had to, and then it starts to perform worse. So I've actually at times, like, even though we're on final release, the like third release ad's still going. I'm like, fuck it, it's still selling tickets. Like, I'll just leave it. So you want to consider that as well. So it might be worth just going for a traffic play just to get volume back up.
Yeah, because we have a fair few more posts to do because we've just locked in a couple of market stalls, food vendor, and we've got a guy doing haircuts. So we've just got to put the tiles and reels together for those to post as well to get more engagement. So
Cool.
that's
I
awesome.
think that stuff's great because it's different, it
Yeah,
differentiates you guys. So getting that stuff out there, you could absolutely put a bit of budget behind that. You could
for
start a
sure.
separate campaign, just as a traffic campaign, just call it hype campaign, and then any stuff like that, market stalls, haircuts, some hype videos, whatever it is, just rotate them through, and then you're going to get people seeing, like, if they see 3, 4, 5 different ads, but they don't even feel like ads because they're more just hype stuff like that. That's when you'll get people starting to go, "Hey, we should go this thing. It looks fucking really cool. They're doing haircuts at a rave."
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah,
Awesome.
love it. Awesome, buddy. Well, yeah, really keen to
No
see
worries.
how next weekend goes and looking forward to catching up again in a couple of weeks.
Yes, likewise.
Cool, cool. All right. On to the bottom row. Dan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How you going?
Very good, very good. How's
Good.
how's everything going with the launches? What's the latest?
Yeah, so I just to catch everybody up, I was going to do a Sydney and a Melbourne party for my house party at New Year's. And then a couple of other venues that I work with in Perth and Hobart have said, can you add us to the list? So the launch has kind of been delayed a bit while I get those dates ready for the other cities. And yeah, so it's like it's ready.
Dan's fresh off the back of a sellout, by the way, guys. He sold out the Ivy on Saturday night, so absolutely smashed it, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a heap of momentum out the back of that.
Thanks to the Sellout Academy. So
Oh, mate, we're the
the
extra cream on the top. You're doing the main work.
but that's the thing, like, and that's what I wanted to get out of this course because it was always at like 80%, and I just wanted to sell out because that extra 20% is so important. But
Yeah, love it, mate.
yeah. So yeah, I'm launching these two parties. I've never done this party in Hobart or Perth before, so I'm kind of there's a little audience there that knows about it already, but I'll kind of be starting fresh with those two cities. Um, and then obviously Sydney and Melbourne are okay. So uh, not freaking out about it, but like it's almost like starting again with those two cities, starting from zero.
Yeah,
Um,
not freaking out, but low key freaking out.
yeah, I am
That's
actually
what we
freaking
do.
out. I got excited and said yes, and then went, "Oh my God, now I've got to sell tickets for these places that I don't not so familiar with." But
That's all right, mate. We will absolutely get it done. I have no doubt. Like I said, you got a lot of momentum, which is really good. So yeah. So just in terms of the launch and everything, because it was going to be this week, but do you think that it might be getting pushed back? Like, where's all that sitting?
yeah, so I got the Hobart venue just confirmed this afternoon, so I can get everything set up and ready to go tomorrow. So it actually launches on Friday, the pre-sale launch. And the only thing is that's going to run over the weekend. I don't know if that's bad or not, and then do the on sale next week. Um, I've been doing,
Yeah, I'm not massive on, and again, maybe you've had good experience with it. If that's the case, great. But I haven't, not huge on launching on Fridays. I don't really like doing anything on Mondays or Fridays, especially because if it is a big sort of big launch, just yeah, you just tend to lose a bit of steam as soon as you hit the weekend. So, were you
Mhm.
thinking of still launching the whole tour together?
I'd like to, yeah, I can't kind of fit Adelaide in this same kind of time frame. So I'm just going to stick to these four cities and launch the four of them together. So
Yep.
potentially I could do a relaunch of the tour tomorrow and say we've got four cities now pre-sale. Sign up on the sign up form if you're interested, and then we'll do pre-sale on Monday, the actual campaign launch.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I just feel like it might be a little bit disjointed. I feel like if we're going to have both. So is there a real appetite to get it out ASAP for any specific reason? Or like if you waited to next week and did like a Monday launch and then Thursday on sale, do you think that would still be okay?
Yeah, well, I was thinking if it launches on Monday, um, but if I told people the cities tomorrow, so just kind of like a teaser tomorrow to say, look, we're
Yep.
going to four cities instead of two, and then do the proper launch
Yep.
on Monday.
Yep. I reckon that works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, just because when I launched it on the weekend, right after the Saturday party, I when people signed up, I said, "Oh, you're going to get all the info on Monday," and then
Got yeah.
they didn't get all the info on Monday.
Yeah, sure. Promoter life.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. Yep. I think that works.
yeah, I've kind of gone a bit radio silent on that on those socials, apart from sharing content from the party on the weekend. So yeah, I kind of feel like I've got to tell them something tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to do something this week. That makes sense. And I
Yeah.
think that, yeah, if you just drop that, get people to understand, hey, this is coming, and then yeah, just hit it hard um, on the Monday. But yeah, I think it's still as long as you're not like pushing a specific like oh, sign up here and then also sign up here. If it's more of it's just like, hey, leave your details to be the first to know. And then when you launch, then you've got the actual sign up messaging, pre-sale, etc., etc. Then I think it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I've got that little just that sign up form, which is name and email, first name and email. So it's like really,
Yeah, perfect.
there's not much info they're giving away there.
Yep. And then what about the overall sort of setup? Did you get a chance to have a look at everything? Just to give you guys, the other guys who are on as well, Dan's part of the Inner Circle program. So our guys have been doing a little bit of work for him in terms of setting up his ad shells and all that sort of stuff. So that's what we're referring to. Yeah, did you get a chance to have a look at any of that stuff?
No, I just got back home tonight, about 3 hours
Oh yeah,
ago.
that's right. You were in Melbourne
Yeah,
yesterday, weren't you?
I
Yeah.
was, yeah. So that's my job tonight and tomorrow morning to catch up on all that and get that campaign set up and then just duplicate it for each city
Yep, cool. Yeah,
and
and
turn it
then
into a
we'll jump
tour.
back in and have a look over everything and make sure it's all set up properly because the the conversion campaign for an Audience Republic pre-sale, like that's something that you haven't done before, and I'm really excited to see it because I know how engaged your audience is. I know how well the shows have been doing. So once we launch, we've got to make sure that we do the strategy of 24 hours, and then we'll have 2 full days. So we'll have Tuesday and Wednesday. If we're going to go on sale for the pre-sale Thursday, we'll have 2 full days of conversion ads running. We'll make sure that they're set up, and then the goal is to not really touch them at all because we've only got the 2 days. So we
Yeah.
don't really want to make any changes. We'll just set them up, make sure they're all ready to go. We'll switch them on, and then that will drive a lot of pre-sale signups.
Yeah, cool. A question with changing your ads. If you change your budget, is that considered a change to Meta? And does it start from like, does it kind of reset? Like if you
Yeah,
add,
the answer is yeah, yes, it does.
yeah, okay.
It's not so much if you change it a little bit. So what you'll generally do is like if you're trying to scale an ad that's going well, let's say you've got a longer pre-sale or you've got a ticket conversion campaign and you're running at $10 a conversion or whatever it is, and then you want to scale it up because it's profitable for you. If you say, cool, well, we're going at $10 a conversion, we're spending $20 a day, so let's just put it up to 100, and that means we'll get 10 sales a day instead of two. Doesn't always work like that because it
Okay.
will blow out your cost per CPA if you jump it really, really high. So you want to kind of go up with spend in increments.
Okay. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
read some stuff online about that, but yeah, wasn't 100% sure. Because I
You'll
had an app.
notice that sometimes
Yeah.
if you increase it a lot, you'll see that it'll go back into learning phase. But if you increase it a little bit, it will just stay active.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Were you going to say that you have a knack of just increasing budgets and decreasing?
I had an ad going really well. If it's not going well, I just switch it off. But I had one going really well,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, exactly what you said. Oh, if I double the budget, I'm going to make twice as many sales. And then I read
Yeah.
stuff saying, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I think that we'll just make sure that we've got everything, all the guns in a row, and then we'll go hard for the pre-sale. But yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I think with 4 cities, with the tour campaign in AREP, conversion ads, I think the database and everything's going to grow because it's going to be the first campaign that you've done in Audience Republic. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, cool. I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Cool, cool. Anything else that you wanted to check in interim? I know we've obviously got our other catch up next week, but yeah, if there's anything else that you need a hand with now, let's we can go over it.
Just a quick question with boosting a story on Insta. Every now and again, it comes up saying, "Do you want to boost this story?" and sometimes there are a couple of stories I think, oh, this is key information that I want to share. Does it just boost
Mhm.
it for the 24 hours of that story, or will it boost it for a little while longer?
It'll keep it going as long as you keep
You
the
keep-
budget going. But remember, you can't
Okay.
do it from, well, you can do it from your phone, but you pay the extra 30% surcharge
Yeah, right.
because, oh wait, have you got an Android or an Apple
Apple.
or an iPhone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
iPhone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So you'll be paying 30% for service fee. So
Yeah, right.
just be conscious of that. And if it says you should boost this story or whatnot, or you want to boost it, you can absolutely boost it. You just do it from the ads manager, and you just select story placement only, and then you can find it
Yeah.
in
Okay.
the
Yeah,
in the ads
cool.
manager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool, cool. All right, mate. Let's move on. Hey, Ethan, how you going, buddy? So you've just joined?
Hey mate, can you hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Sorry, buddy. I just forgot that it was completely forgot that it was bloody daylight savings over there. So I thought that I was bang on time, and turns out I'm an hour behind
No,
probably. So
no dramas. We're reasonably on track. Well, I'll go to Jordan next, and then we'll jump across to you.
sure, mate, no problems.
Awesome. Hey, Jordan, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. What about yourself?
Good, mate. Very good. Nice and busy as we're getting into the summer season, but that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, that's true. So,
How's everything going, mate? I saw your stories that you sent through the other
yeah,
day with
look,
the underage and everything.
yeah, so that last event, it wasn't too bad. Like, oh, so pretty much what has happened with that event was obviously there was multiple issues with the meta ads. So we've realized now that obviously, like Facebook ads don't work anymore for these under 18s events. Like it's just all over the place. So now there needs to be more focus on TikTok ads and Snapchat ads. So that's what
Hmm.
I've noticed now with the other events recently. They've made the switch to obviously more focus on that rather than meta ads. Whereas back then, when I first started doing these events, we were relying heaps on the meta ads which were doing really well at the start, but now all of a sudden it's pretty much a huge waste of money. So obviously that's another thing. So I had to rely a lot more this time on promoters and as well as actually doing like proper story posts every single day, just spamming the story, and that's pretty much how I was still able to sell tickets. Look, the break even for that event was very high because obviously I don't know if you know we got Jack Somi, the guy who made the Pedro 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 song, to
Yeah.
play. He actually did a really good set, but I found that the obviously the under 18s don't really appreciate it as much. Whereas when he did the overage set at Storyville, like everyone loved it. Loved it. It was yeah,
Yeah, right.
it was probably a really down to earth bloke to work with, party with. Like yeah, Germans definitely drink for sure, so he took me out. But look, yeah, no,
Nice.
like obviously, yeah, I do highly recommend anyone that wants to book them or book him. Jack Somi, he's really good. But obviously, the downside with this event is I lost like they I don't know if yeah. So I did this event with Trimble David.
Yeah. Yep.
So and obviously we've both lost money on this event. Like this is the first time I've ever lost money on an event which sucks, but like
Yeah, it's not great, mate. It's not what we're in the
not
game for,
not the
right?
best thing. Oh
But
yeah. So
yeah.
obviously probably I don't really want to know how much I've lost at the moment, but like let's just say like obviously yeah, it's obviously compared to the normal under 18s event would have just still made some money. Whereas this situation, also we've tried to push hard, being a headliner, this and that, and having a few issues with what was I going to say, the flyer design too. Whereas obviously I
Hmm.
whereas obviously I wanted to try another flyer designer, one of David's. designers. That whereas my designer obviously knows how to work with me. I tell him I want it like this, and as soon so difference is with my designer, for instance, I'd say, all right, listen, I want this or this in the on the flyer, and he'll be like, yes, that's going to work, or no, that's not going to work. He'll tell me straight. Whereas with this other designer, he just did what he was told.
Mm.
It looked in the end, it kind of looked a bit shit. When then I had to quickly get
It's hard when that happens, isn't it? You get to
and
a
then I
point where
had
you just feel like you're
obviously
just
I
doing
felt
changes
bad
on
because
changes.
yeah, obviously I felt bad because I didn't want to say to David, oh, you designers, yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like, yeah, so obviously that was another issue too. And then obviously what it was confirmed when obviously when you have a headliner saying, look, the flyer, or admitting to me when we were drinking that the original flyer didn't look great.
Mm.
Even though they approved it. I was like, yeah, look, I'll see. And then they're like, oh, the recent flyer that's been made was sick. But that recent one, obviously, was a bit too late. Yeah, so that recent flyer was changed, obviously due to obviously my designer guy fixing it up, doing yeah, just making it look really nice, and they loved the new flyer design.
Cool, mate.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like there's some lessons learnt there for the next one. And yeah,
Yeah, so it's
what do you got
definitely
coming up?
listen.
What's the outlook look like for summer?
Um, look, I reckon I'm gonna still continue with the what's it called, the 18 plus themed event parties for now, the Taylor Swift One Directions nights. Because if you're thinking about it now, they're very low overheads. They've already got a fan base. Whereas the under 18 saying yes, they'll pay like $45 for a ticket. But the problem is they like with the meta ads and that, like it's getting a lot harder now. You have to rely, and with my brother not being as keen anymore to promote since he's like turning 17 next year. Now he doesn't really want to promote it anymore. So obviously that doesn't help either. Like him getting older. So obviously he's only 16. No, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
right. It's getting
appreciated.
older. It's getting a bit long in the
Yeah,
tooth.
I would have appreciated him a bit more trying to help. At the for the first one, he did, but then the rest of them, he's like, "Nah, I can't be bothered." So that, yeah.
So, what date wise, have you got any dates, venues locked in?
Um,
What's it sort of looking like at the
so,
moment?
so at the moment, I'm considering whether it's worth, like, say for instance, moving the not just doing the Taylor Swift One Direction parties at the Larks Bar Mini Ponds, but potentially having them run at another venue, like for instance,
Hmm.
and going a bit more upmarket, like for instance, like at Emerson or whatever, which is obviously yeah, because if you think about it, so it's all like these events are like 95% girls. So
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. So a lot of clubs or venues would appreciate that, but obviously the downside is obviously less bar spend because it's always the
Yeah,
guy
correct.
that is spending. So I don't know, like I'd love to bring it to like yeah somewhere like Emerson or like that just on a Friday or whatever. But I've been thinking about it, but I'm not sure how it would actually work, or just stick to just doing that at the local deluxe because there's hardly any of those events running now anymore, even at Ballers. Like I've been
It
asked.
might be one of those things that you've got it like, especially with the whole north-south thing, right? So if you're gonna, you've got your crew there over in Mooney Ponds. Will any of them come over, to the south, or will you have to create a new crew? Now, that's
Like
fine. That's probably the case, but it's definitely a consideration.
yeah, like at the moment, like surprisingly, a lot of people have been traveling from everywhere, like even from the country, from the southeast, all coming all the way to Mooney Ponds for these events, and a lot of them have been pretty loyal. So that's what definitely got me thinking too, whether can do like a Mooney Ponds one still and do like a city version as well, because I have been asked in the past to collab with the Ballers. one because obviously
Yeah,
he's
right.
seen, obviously with that Hugo, he's obviously seen that that these events that I've been doing have been going well.
Yeah.
No, so obviously, yeah, but yeah, but obviously I didn't want at the time I didn't really want to do that. Just keep because obviously like end of the day, like he could have just done one event with me and just to steal the database and then like yeah, because technically we're still in competition, for instance. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense, mate. Sometimes it happens. So have you got any, like, where's your head at the moment? Are you sort of thinking, you're going to be looking at locking in a date, or you're still not sure? Are you
Oh,
are you are you
I'm
putting pressure on
seriously.
yourself to get something locked in, or are you feeling pretty cruisy with
Like
it?
I'm seeing the venue owner, deluxe venue owner tonight. See, get some dates with some fresh events or any other ideas can do. But obviously, like in the future, I do obviously want to eventually do like some club nights. But I want to more focus on like more upmarket club nights or that because obviously at the moment I just don't see there being too much money in obviously the more casual nights. And I've also confirmed as well because let's just say like I know I've I've got some contacts with the suppliers like Supergas just can't remember. Let's say my uncle also knows a fair few suppliers as well because he owns some factories and obviously they all talk and that. So I know that. So I've been told that a lot of these clubs have had a huge drop in orders, like whether it's for gas or syrups and that. Whereas like clubs like obviously Emerson, Albion, and all that are still doing high volumes.
Mm,
Like, yeah, so
yep.
that's what's pretty much got me really thinking, hang on, maybe I should obviously start looking into going more upmarket in the future. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
I don't know if you're surprised about that or not. Like at first I had no clue, but until obviously it's stuff I shouldn't be knowing, but it's definitely got me thinking.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I think in general, I wouldn't look. There's still plenty of venues that are kicking ass. Like a lot of our clients are still doing quite
Yeah,
well.
no, but I'm
But
saying like events.
there's some
I'm
that are
saying like
struggling as well.
I'm saying like more in the sense of bar spend because obviously end
Mm,
of the day, like the venues, if say for instance you're doing really well on tickets, but everyone's not spending money at the bar. That like
yeah.
you're gonna get kicked out. Like I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but like probably oh, it's been ages now. But like for instance, like Code was doing obviously decent numbers on a Saturday.
Mm,
I liked Code too, but obviously the problem is that those uni students don't spend money at the bar, so
yeah, correct.
of course they're gonna get
They
Jordan.
get pressure from the
Yeah,
venue,
of
big
course the
time.
venue's
Yeah,
going to kick them out. Obviously, Nick
yeah.
and Ian were obviously disappointed, but end of the
Mm,
day, yeah, it's a business, and yeah,
yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, mate, I think in terms of like going through any specific strategy stuff, as I said before, obviously we've got in a couple of weeks, we've got the workshop that's going to be a lot more focused on the specific strategies around Black Friday and navigating around that with an ads point of view. Tonight's really just about getting a real sort of fact find of what the summer looks like. But I think maybe once you speak to these owners tonight and once you lock in some dates and get a bit of a plan, then I think in the next workshop we can really sort of help you focus on what that's going to look like and how you can navigate the summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Cool.
definitely to get some more events running again,
Yep.
and obviously not think about the loss of the last event. Like it's one of those
That's
things.
it, mate. You got to. It's one of those things. You got to acknowledge it, and you've got to have a look at what happened. Definitely do your numbers properly. Work out exactly how much you lost. Make sure you roll that loss into your next event. Put it as an expense item into your budget, because it's got to pay you back. And just yeah, move on and learn from it. And yeah, no doubt the next one will be profitable.
It's definitely a learning curve, that's for sure. First,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, mate. All right, let's roll on. Ethan, how are you, buddy? How's things? Has been a while.
Hello, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, mate.
Yeah, mate. Fucking great to be back. Sorry, I lost my admin lady for like 6 weeks, so I've just been trying to do the
That
club
hurts.
and promotional and then admin and just everything in between. I've just not really had a bit up. I've just been trying to catch up on all the lives and everything like that you guys have been doing. But she's
Yep,
back now, so I'm back in the game. So
awesome. Love
good,
it.
good to be back.
How's
But I
the
still have to catch up. I still have some catch up to do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no dramas at all, mate. No doubt you will. And yeah, keen to hear how everything's looking for the summer. You probably missed the preamble at the start, but yeah, we were just sort of going through the next few weeks of workshops. So obviously we've got this
Sure,
one, which is Sellout Academy members only. We had a really good session this morning too. We had
sure.
11 a.m. session. So we've spoken to most people, just sort of get the overall outlook for summer, dates, shows, etc., any sort of main challenges.
Yeah,
Take a whole bunch of info down, whole bunch of notes, and then me and the team will sit down and map out a little bit of a customized sort of recommendations and customized plan for how we would tackle it,
sure.
around certain things like your Black Fridays and your Christmases because of the challenges with, a lot of ad spend and everything like that, blowing out everyone's costs, and then navigating around competitors and stuff like that. And then in a couple of
Mm,
weeks, we'll have the free workshop, which will be more general sort of strategies around that stuff. And then in the week after that, that's when we'll sit down and jump on another workshop like this and go through your sort of individualized plans.
sure, sure. Sounds great.
Cool, man. So yeah, if you want to just give us a bit of a general
Yep.
overview of what the outlook looks like.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think my biggest struggle at the moment is just probably like segmentation. I've just got so many events. So I've sort of got obviously all my club nights every Friday, Saturday. But I've sort of got 9 between now and the end of December. And we're still building out some events through January, but I've got sort of like 9 flagship events really, or I sort of call them flagship events because they sit sort of on top of our club nights.
Mhm.
Where there's either there's an artist or there's a activation or something. There's an over and above spend. There's content, video, and all that sort of stuff there. So we've just got a lot between now and the end of the year. So I think the biggest issue for me at the moment is, especially with ads, like we build out so much content, but it's like trying to fit all the content together. Almost the content's fucking competing with each other at this point, because I've just got so much to do. So I think just the proper segmentation, the strategy behind it. But we have since jumping on with you guys, we're sort of making sure that we're launching these things at least like minimum 6 weeks out, so we have a proper strategy. We've got all the worksheets that you sent through, and we've sort of adjusted them to make them our own a little bit. So
Awesome.
that we can do checklists, like all that stuff you're talking about, getting things in order. And then we've just got data now to look back on to see how that event was. And we've had some really good wins, actually, some really good events. And we're sort of selling tickets at a volume that we probably haven't sold before, which is good. But yeah, just trying to I still haven't really, I want to have an event where, again, I would sell, I'd have probably between 500 and 600 come to the venue most nights. Maybe 200 of them would buy a ticket potentially.
Mhm.
But I'd love to sell 400 tickets. I'd love to just sell out at a particular event. So you haven't been able to achieve that yet, and so we just probably haven't got the whole strategy correct at this point in time. And then I think the thing with us is that obviously being that we just have a regular club crowd anyway, often where our events are competing with each other a little bit. And almost people are coming to our venue anyway. So, so that's really where we're at the moment. But yeah, we do have a lot of events locked in. We're just about to, we're in the process, actually, we've launched an app as well. So we've got to get that
Yeah,
up and
cool.
running in the next couple of weeks. So now we have access where people can, for every dollar they spend at the venue, they can earn money back, and it's on their phone, and they can scan the QR code, and that they can instantly redeem those points for money, which is cool. So that's been a process, just getting that done. And we want to sign up with Audience. I've chatted to the Audience Republic guys as well. So hopefully within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll be on board with them. So just trying to, I don't know, marry the app and Audience Republic and all these events and get it together, just a lot to juggle.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a fair bit planned anyway.
Mate, it's awesome. It sounds like, you're definitely heading in the right direction with the AREP side of things as well. I'd love to find out more about the app too. That sounds cool. Is that just like have you paid for like a white labeling like app that sort of does that point system?
Yes. So we've got we have a POS system. It's called BPOS, which it's in many venues all over Australia. I think even Sporting Club uses BPOS, and so they build the apps essentially, and it's they're able to do it for me like a subscription based, and it's kick ass. It's really good, and it feeds. I think the biggest thing is that whenever they spend it just ties into my POS system, and I can send out push notifications to people, which is a pretty well no cost. It's almost like text messaging. They get the notifications. You can geo target people when they're walking past the venue or in the area, and I can feed all that information with what people are spending back into Audience Republic. So I don't know. I feel it'll be a pretty kick-ass CRM system by the time I just haven't had enough time. It's another thing. It's there, but I just haven't got to it just yet. So
absolutely, that's awesome. So do they have a direct connection with Audience Republic, or that will be through an API?
No, they don't. So I tried to, because I was with MailChimp. At the moment, they only wanted this. BPOS will only work with MailChimp, and I tried so hard to join the two together so that I didn't have to pay for MailChimp and Audience Republic. Because I do really like Audience Republic, but I'm already paying for MailChimp, and unfortunately, I just can't get out of that at this moment in time. But I think I'm just gonna, provided that I can use Audience Republic in the right way and get the most out of it, I'm happy to take the MailChimp expense on and just leave that where it is, and pretty much almost consider that as an app expense and just only use it for certain app things. And then all of our distribution, our information and stuff, our ADMs, just to do it all through Audience Republic, because we use Megatix as well, and I believe they integrate with Megatix.
Yeah, that was my next question. Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Yeah, they do integrate directly. AREP integrates with most of the ticketing platforms now, which is good. And the good thing about that is like it's event based. So if you guys have got your weeklies, when people are buying tickets for each individual weekly, you can just obviously that'll feed straight into your segments. So the way that you set up your segments in AREP is going to be important, because like, for example, you can do it like on a keyword basis, right? So if you've got certain events, whether it's a Saturday or a Friday or whatever, and how you want to set up your segments, then you can set it up to say when event keyword contains, Saturday, then automatically put people into this segment. And then when people buy tickets for the Saturday, then it will just feed them straight in there. So you can set that up if you set it up the right way that suits your audience and suits your buying behavior and your labeling of what your events are called on Megatix. Then you can kind of set up a self-segmenting system, which is what you want, because you don't want to have a process where you're having to jump in there all the time and keep everything updated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we just have a bit of a, like I said, my biggest it's the segmentation, I think, of just which content to fire off at what time, given the amount of events that we have, and we only have like the one Instagram page, and we do have a bit of a leaky bucket when it comes to the ads. I've got the pixels and stuff set up, which is great now. I got that through Upwork, so at least I'm getting data, which is great. But I'm finding that the like for conversion ads, which have been doing, at least I can see it now, which is great. They've been doing pretty well, but because we have say 10 different events on our Megatix, and we've only got Amandra only has probably 80,000-90,000 people. I guess a lot of people see our ads and you can't tell which ones are buying tickets for. So for instance, on my conversion, it'll say, oh, look, you've had 12 ticket sales from this ad, but you go to Megatix and there's only been 5, but it's picking up other sales from other events because the pixels on.
Yep.
So I don't know necessarily how to get that data a little bit more accurate.
So you can do it by setting up custom conversions that are URL based. So you can set it up you set up the custom conversion and you will set it up as a purchase objective, but then you can select URL contains, and then you have a unique string, like a unique term that will be in the URL of that ticket page, like whether it's a date, let's say it's October 20th or whatever. You could write like URL contains OCT-20, and you know that that's unique to only that ticket page, meaning that the person has to hit a page that contains that URL before it will record it as a conversion. So that's the way to get around it. The only thing is, if you're doing so many events and so many weeklies, it can become a bit of overkill or a bit of a pain in the ass to be having to set up these custom conversions every single time. But that's the way to avoid that duplication of conversions.
Yeah, we typically don't, like our
attribution.
regular Friday nights, Saturday night club ticket. We typically don't. People just buy that because they're coming, and it's super good value for money. So our ad spend does go across onto these sort of flagship events where the ticket price is higher, and we're really trying to drag in the crowd. Is there some video somewhere on the custom conversion, or would I just go back to the fella that set it up for me on Upwork and just say, listen, I need some of these?
Yeah. So if he knows your business and has done stuff for you in the past, then yeah, I would think that getting him to set them up would be the right play, just as long as he understands exactly what the ask is and what the requirement is, to make sure that there's no cross attribution. In terms of like technically how to set up a custom conversion, there's you'll be able to find tons of videos on that, sort of anywhere on the web. But in terms of setting it up right for your brand, yeah, it's you want to make sure that you have it. Let's just say that you run ads regularly for your Friday, regularly for your Saturday. You might have a custom conversion set up that is URL contains FRI, for example. I'm just making this up, whatever it is. So you have a Friday custom conversion, you have a Saturday custom conversion, and then if you set one up specifically for your individual special events, that should be a way to be able to, avoid that. And then that way you're not having to set up a custom conversion for every single weekly.
Yeah. And then when you're in the ad, you just grab that custom conversion from inside the ad somewhere, I'm assuming, when you're selecting the pixel.
Yeah, so when you're selecting the objective, so you'll select the objective as a conversion, and then when you actually choose the conversion, which conversion point you want in the ad set, you'll click at it now and you'll see that it says purchase, lead, add to cart, etc., etc. When you create the custom conversion, you'll see that in the actual selection in the drop down.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, if you get it all set up and your guy sets it up from Upwork and everything, take a few screenshots, make a Loom video, send it through. I can have a look at it and just double check that everything's all set up properly.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, beautiful. I think that would definitely help because then I can see that it's even more helpful since we have something which is good. But yeah, it's nice to get a little bit tighter so I can track the ad spend a bit more accurately.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll find that that once you get all that set up properly and you get it going, it's almost like your eyes will open. You'll be like, oh shit, now I can see all my data properly, and yeah, you'll be able to start making some better strategic decisions.
Yeah. That's really a snapshot of where we're at. I do have to just go and just do a bunch of catch ups through the course, which I'll be smashing them out over the next sort of week or so. And I should be jumping on all the rest of the lives now that my admin lady's back. Thank fuck. So yeah.
Yeah, love it, mate. Well, yeah, it sounds like you got an exciting and busy run coming up to the end of the year. So yeah, hopefully we can help you sort of navigate that, and then and make sure that you're smashing those events.
Yeah, sure. Can I send through maybe a little bit more of a detailed email on it or something along those lines? Would that help you more so in terms of what the plan is for the rest of the year? Or
Yep, in terms of us being able to input back into your sort of overall strategy for when we catch up in a few weeks, yeah, by all means, send through some information, and that kind of goes for everyone as well. Most of everyone that we've chatted about tonight, I've taken a lot of notes. We spoke about specific dates and things like that, but if you guys have got anything specific that you want to send through, yeah, shoot that through. No problem at all.
Yeah, beautiful. Too lovely.
Cool. And then what about your and again, we can go through this more in the group workshop around navigating around Black Friday, but have you done any have you had any strategies in the past in terms of your ads? Have you sort of dialed things up, dialed things down around that time?
I think the Black Friday stuff for us doesn't necessarily tend to, or we'll generally just align ourselves with it because there's a bunch of content going out anyway. A Black Friday thing doesn't tend to affect us too much because people are in a bit of a spend mood and they'll sort of come out. Our biggest ones are, it's just big festivals. So for instance, it might be like a Dom Dollar, which is on Saturday, December 7th, for instance. It's like, okay, shit.
Yep.
That's our main crowd is 18 to 24. Most of it's already sold out. There's 30,000 going to Langley Park. Out of that 30,000, there's probably 800 from Mandurah, and 200 of them might come to us. So we're going to feel it that night. So we'll generally program something to compete against that, or a slightly different style of event that will try and drag in a bit of a different crowd, and we'll head off in that direction. It's generally what we do.
Yeah, cool.
But you say this, it's the same thing for us. Like, it's just this summer period for us. It's mainly the event season because there's just so many festivals now to compete with, outdoor events. Again, Medge's a fairly small place, so people sort of love it because it's the local, but at the same time, when there's events on, they want to get away for a little while and go do some different stuff, see some different venues, go to some events. So there's just so many of those, obviously, between now and February for us. And so that's what affects us probably more so than, say, the Black Friday or, Christmas is huge for us because people are in festive. So again, we're probably less on the event side of things and on the venue. So it's kind of a slightly different set of challenges to maybe some of the other people's, like in reverse almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of.
Yeah, well, that's great that Black Friday doesn't affect it that much, being location where you are and everything like that. So, but yeah, I can totally see Dom's sucking up everyone these days. Just he's on an absolute warpath. It's great to see, but yeah, everyone feels the pinch. That's for sure. Everyone's going to feel the pinch around Dom time.
It's great. I mean, in Perth, because it's that particular event is in Perth, it's in Langley Park. It just feeds, it becomes a feeder event for all the venues late night in Perth. But for someone like us, it's sort of 45 minutes, 50 minutes out of Perth. People will just go to the Perth venues, or by the time they get back to Mandurah, they're tired. They want to go to bed. They're not interested in kicking on because it's been an hour since the festival. They're all sober. It's been a big day. They're ready for bed. Yep. So we definitely feel that a little bit more than some of the other venues. But yeah, that's the game we're in. So.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Absolutely. Well, yeah, great to catch up. As I said, I've taken a bunch of notes, sent through any extra info, and yeah, looking forward to putting together a bit of a battle plan for you.
Cool. Sounds great. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. No worries at all. All right. Lucky last. Travis, how are you, mate? Good to catch up.
Hey, Corey, how you going?
Good, buddy.
Yeah, man. The ad campaign's been going better since I changed a few things.
Yep, good to hear.
Do you remember how I was hitting you up for some advice a little while ago?
Yep.
Right. So
absolutely. How's the changes gone?
Well, what I did originally was set it up as a conversion campaign because I didn't really understand that it was vital that I had a pixel because the ticketing outlet is the venue's website, right? And I just, So anyway, I went ahead and I did the conversion campaign for a few weeks. Didn't do very well. So that's when I hit you up, talked to Alicia at length, and she said, you want to do a traffic campaign? And that's turning out a lot better.
Yep, okay, great to hear.
I'm not really sure why, but I rang the venue and they said, no, we can't do a pixel. So I think in future we need to make sure we control the ticketing. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so if you can't do a pixel, and sometimes you can't for whatever reason, venues being a pain in the ass, still living in the 90s,
Yeah,
can't put a
right.
pixel on, then sometimes, yeah, that's yeah, unfortunately, there's sometimes not much you can do. So if that's the case, then yeah, at least it was absolutely right. If you can't get a pixel on, you definitely need to run traffic. So it's good to know that, yeah, that you guys changed that. But yeah, it's probably worth, whenever you're doing booking shows, in the future, just floating past them. Hey, what sort of marketing assistance can we get from your team? Are we able to get pixels on the pages and whatnot? Or, as you said, can we run our own ticketing? So some venues have contracts with ticket providers. Sometimes there's no way you can get out of it. If you've got leverage, you can. And that's one thing I'll say to every single person. If you've got enough leverage for an event and they want you bad enough, sometimes you can negotiate to use your own ticketing. That's definitely an option to be able to do that. But sometimes you don't have the leverage, and if you threaten to not do your event there, and then the venue says, "Well, fine, go somewhere else," or you don't really have a leg
Yeah.
to stand on. So, yeah, so
How is
it's one of those things.
would us having run it as a conversion campaign originally, would that have hurt our reach and potential sales? I don't quite understand how it'd be different if the audiences are the same.
Yeah, so it works by who you're actually targeting. So the whole idea, like a perfect campaign, is to set up a conversion campaign and then set that live. That goes out of learning phase into active, and it's got what that's doing. And what you're asking Meta to do is to go out and find you people who are most likely to purchase tickets. So there's people that are on Meta that just never buy tickets for whatever reason. Maybe, they just aren't people who will transact. So when you're going and setting up a conversion campaign, you're targeting people who are likely to take that action. And Meta knows these people. They know their shopping habits. They know their buying habits. They know that they're happily get their credit card out and they buy tickets to ship. So
But
that's who
even
you're
though,
targeting. It's the premium audience. Whereas if you're going for traffic, then what you're saying to Meta is, oh, hey Meta, I'm happy for you just to send me people who will click the ad. But Meta doesn't guarantee that they're buyers, because all you're asking from Meta is a click. So there's plenty of more people in your pool of audience that will click. There's less people that will go through and buy. So when you're going conversions, you're targeting the buyers. When you're targeting traffic, you're just targeting the clickers.
so even if we use the exact same audience, it's going to still differentiate in the way you've said. That's really interesting.
Yep. So there is crossover. I've got a
Right.
little diagram. I'll send it through to you. It's from some of the workshops and whatnot. But there is crossover. Like if you imagine it as a pie, like a pie chart, or more so a Venn diagram probably. Then if you've got 100,000 people, there might be 50 or 60,000 people in the audience that Meta will deem as clickers. So that's your target audience inside that 100,000. There might only be, 30 or 40,000 people that are buyers. And so there
Yeah.
might be crossover in those, but there'll be some that are in the other audience and some that aren't. So until you start your ad, Meta doesn't know, like it doesn't optimize. But as soon as you start your ad, it then starts gathering data based on your conversion or based on your objective, whether that's clicks or conversions. As each people starts to undertake that objective, it then says, what are the similarities between all of these people? And then it builds a little profile, and then it will go out and target all of the people in the audience that share the same profile as the people that are taking action.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's basically how it works. And the whole idea is that you get the conversion ad going, but for the conversion ad to fire and for it to get out of the learning phase and start working well, it needs data. So if you're only getting like one conversion a day, then the next day you're not getting any, then the next day you're getting one or two, it's a bit patchy, and it means that there's not enough data. And you'll notice that in Meta, it'll either say learning for ages and it won't get out of the learning phase, or
Mm.
it'll drop into learning limited and it'll be orange. The light will be orange instead of green. That's a signal to say, hey, this campaign is not firing on all cylinders. We need to change something. In which case you might then switch to traffic, because you know that it's much easier for a traffic campaign to perform because the audience is bigger. There's more people that will click. So then it's able to optimize a lot easier.
Okay. And when you do that, you actually have to rebuild the campaign from the ground up, don't you? You can't just change it.
Well, you can duplicate it. So if you want to switch to traffic, you can just go in and you're a conversion campaign. You duplicate the campaign, and then you'll change then at the campaign level, then you can change the actual conversion objective to traffic.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise, yeah, it's a pain in the ass if you're going to have to rebuild it every time.
Yeah, I did rebuild it. I built it better because I'm new to this, so I still did it quicker and more efficiently the second time. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, when we do our audiences, you've trained us to start with our engaged 365 audience. So people that have watched, for me, it was, I think, 4 minutes or something, whatever, of a video, and everyone that's looked at Instagram, and put them together. And that was one of my audiences. And then I ran the same ad set to that audience, and also an audience that likes Blues Brothers, blues music, live concerts, shit like that. Now, have I done that right?
For your overall description of it, yeah, absolutely. Engage 365 and then a native audience, and you can try other audiences like lookalikes and whatnot. But for the most part, that sounded right. Just your video viewers, depending on the size and how many people have viewed the video, you probably, I reckon for what you're doing, you probably want to keep it pretty broad. Like people who viewed the video for 3 seconds is the least that you can do.
I think I did.
Yeah, then that's fine. If you've got, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of video viewers and all of that, you could say, oh, people that viewed 15 seconds, because they're more engaged and you still got a bigger audience.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I think for what you guys are doing, for 3 seconds is probably the go.
I'm pretty sure that's what I did, yeah, because I wanted to maximize it. Because we didn't get much. We got a lot of people from our 365 audience, but we didn't get a lot from the new audience, which was really disconcerting. And to be honest with you, mate, I'm just targeting, because it's a Gold Coast gig, I'm just targeting Gold Coast.
Yep.
And I'm just targeting 365. And we're getting a bit more clicks. We've got 450 clicks, I think, in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So do you suggest I continue that, or should I bring in a broader audience at this point?
Off the top of my head, I would guess that if you're doing those sorts of numbers, knowing what size your shows are and everything like that, and you're targeting Engage 365 and all the spend was going to that instead of the other one, I reckon you've got Advantage Plus ticked on, which means that it probably is serving outside of your Engage 365 audience. So just check that. Based on what you're saying, I reckon it sounds like that might be the case, that you might have your Advantage Plus audiences, which what you're basically doing when you're ticking Advantage Plus on Meta, you're basically saying, hey, Meta, try and target these people, but if you want to target whoever the fuck you feel like, then it'll just target them.
Because I'm pretty sure that I think it's Waleed, is it, the guy that works with you?
Yeah, Wahab.
Pardon?
Wahab.
Wahab. I'm pretty sure he told me to turn that on.
Yeah.
Advantage.
And yep. So that would have just been him trying to get a bit more volume out of it for you. And if all the spend's going to that and you're getting quite a lot of clicks, then it sounds like that was the right play. If the results have started to improve since that's the case, then that might be your play. So there's different ways that you can do it. For some people, they've got big audiences, they're dialed up, they don't want anything to do with Advantage Plus. Sometimes if you have Advantage Plus
Right.
on from a remarketing audience, that can kick ass. So there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, so to speak. And it just depends on what's going to work for you guys.
I've just checked. Advantage Plus is on at this point.
Yep. So that makes sense. And so if that's working okay, then I would absolutely keep doing that. What's your sort of numbers like with the gig? When's the show? How many tickets have you sold, et cetera, et cetera?
The show is in 2 weeks, 25th. We've sold fuck all. We're 37 tickets, mate. Like, we're scared. We maybe even have to cancel it at this point. Which is why I was trying so hard to fix the ad.
Yep. And so do you know what your break even is?
We want to get 200. I can't tell you if it's break even, but that's what Greg wants, 200 sales.
Yep, that's the target. And so have you done a show at this venue before?
No.
Or in the same location, or is it you going into a brand new territory?
No, it's the Gold Coast. It's Mo's Desert Clubhouse. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Burleigh. I'm just looking it up. We've played in the area, to answer your question, but I don't know exactly if it's the same vicinity. But we've played on the Gold Coast a fair few times.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of dig in to see if there's any variables from other events. Like, have you done other events in the same area that have kicked ass? And just trying to sort of uncover any variables that might be there.
We normally do kick ass. We normally sell between 200 and 300 tickets, so it's very confusing that it's not going very well, Just trying to find out where it is.
Have you changed anything from now that you're running ads and whatnot? Have you taken away any other marketing activities and put these ads in place of it, or what's that sort of look like?
I'm basically rolling out Facebook posts and posting them on local groups as well, which is a strategy that we employ, and that does pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I've even done press release to local newspapers and radio stations. And no one really got back to me about that.
So with your creative, is it the creatives that you put in the group a while back?
Yeah, well, that's the ad. The creatives, I'm running a video, which I showed you, yeah. And I took your advice. I took footage of pretty girls dancing to our music. And then they were hot, man. I was there. And then I panned around. Yeah, I panned around and showed the band playing. And I made sure it was a fairly short little snippet of video. I put titles on the screen. And I've also shared the carousel as a different post as well. That's in the ad, and I'm also using it as social media organic post.
Yep.
It's just like nobody fucking wants to come.
Well, if you've got like 400 clicks in the last week, that's a lot. How much are you spending a day?
I'll just let you know. Where is it? I took a screenshot of it a second ago, so I'll be able to tell you. It's not there. Hang on. I've got Ad Manager open. It might be a second. Okay. 453 clicks, 18,000 reach, 31,000 impressions. Cost per result, 21 cents. Is that what you want to know?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm a little bit.
Yeah, you're getting a low cost per click. 21 cents is low, so you're getting a lot of traffic. It's just not converting into sales for whatever reason. So I think that's probably what you need to dive into. What you said that you had to use the venue's ticketing. do you know what
Correct.
ticketing provider it actually is?
I don't. It just seems to be an in-house system.
Yeah, I don't take it bad.
Yeah,
Give me
okay.
a click here. Yeah, it just seems to be an in-house system. What's on tickets? All right, I'm just going to click book now.
Bye.
All right, don't be out too late or whatever. Bye. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking at it now. I've clicked buy tickets. I don't know what's powering it. It's just show you. I don't know if this is visible to you. It's just an online form on their website.
Yeah, right. Must be just some kind of plugin, like a WordPress plugin or something like that.
Yeah, probably, mate. Which
Yeah,
doesn't really
okay.
help us, does it?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's where my mind's going. Like you're getting a lot of traffic, and I just feel like the conversions might be being hurt by the ticketing page. That's one potential hazard, especially if you haven't done it at this venue before, and you've sold previously. That's
Yep.
yeah,
They're very popular.
potentially could be an option. Mm.
They just won the award for the best venue in the Gold Coast. So they definitely have people that love their venue.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my call to action. I've taken your advice. I have indicated scarcity without stating scarcity. I think I actually used your line, man. Claim your spot on the dance floor. Because we're all about dancing. It's what we do. You know, we sell memories and good night. That's our thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I think it'd be worth sort of maybe send through like you obviously just showed it then, but maybe send through some screenshots or you know, a little screen recording or something like that, or just send us the ticket link. Maybe drop it in the group or send it to me on DM in the group, and I'll have a bit of a look at the ticket page. I'll be able to have a look if there's any other pixels on there too, to see if they're telling you porcupines, because I wouldn't be surprised if they had their own pixel on there.
yeah, probably.
And
well, they must.
And
you'd think they would.
Yeah. So if you want to do that, I'll have a bit of a look at it. And then yeah, I think I think it might be worth as well having a bit of a play around with the audiences. At the same time, send us some screenshots of the latest of what the audiences look like, if exactly what your targeting is and all that sort of stuff. I think let's do that. Let's send the ticket page, send some screenshots through in the group of the audiences, and then I'll jump in there. I'll have a look and I'll see if I can identify something, because something's not quite right. And I think that based on what you've said, there's obviously an appetite for you guys. You've got a following, so you should be selling tickets.
Yeah, you're not wrong, eh? Okay, I'm just sending send it to you in DM.
Yep, awesome.
Yeah,
and then what about the rest of the summer, mate? What's on the outlook?
We don't have a lot of shows booked at the moment. We've just got one in November, and then everything's looking like next year, March sort of thing. So we don't really have much booked at the moment.
Cool. And is that like you're happy with that, or do you want to book some more shows, or are you basically content with that sort of summer calendar?
I think we could all use a break, to be honest. But obviously,
fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. We've worked really hard, but at the same time, bookings are great. So I think if we got some good gigs coming in, nobody would be complaining. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think for us in this case, then let's just really try and focus on getting this show moving. I think
yes,
that should be the focus of the energy. So yeah, as I said, I'll take a look at that stuff that you send through, and see if we can't uncover something, and I'll make a bit of a Loom video and send it back to you, and we can hopefully get it moving.
Yeah, you're a champion. I really appreciate that. And I know
Awesome.
Greg will too. I'm just going to send you my Engage 365. I changed it. I localized the actual audience rather than do a whole new one. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I think it's all right. I'm just going to send you that now. And I guess
Cool.
we'll talk later then, and you can let me know what you reckon.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. We've gone well over time. That was a monster. But yeah, hope everyone got a whole heap of value out of it. Really looking forward to doing a deep dive into everyone's upcoming events. And yeah, it's great to hear how all you guys are going. As I said, we had a really good session this morning as well. So we'll follow up this meeting as we usually do, and then and hopefully see all you guys on the big workshop in 2 weeks' time to go over the specific strategies for navigating the Black Fridays and Christmas and competitor events and all that sort of stuff.
Very cool.
Awesome, guys. Have a great night, and we'll speak very soon.
Thank you, Corey.
Cheers. No worries. See you guys.